Hello there, how are you doing today? I'm going to share a PowerPoint on writing reflections, and I have tried to make it as simple as possible. I made a video yesterday, it was really short on goal writing, and when I looked at it, it was so funny that, I was laughing, and I had to delete it. So I'm trying again today. So be patient with me, and I hope I don't mess up this PowerPoint, but I'm going to pull it up right now. We're going to get started. I think I have too many windows open as usual. So where is it? Okay. So here's the PowerPoint. It'll take it just a minute to load. There it goes. Okay, so we can skip this and go to the next one. Okay, so anyway, the reflection that we're writing in this class is really structured to make it easier. Okay, the reflection is like a little mini essay. It has 4 paragraphs, including an introduction, first paragraph, second paragraph, your first goal, and then explanation and discussion of that goal and how you met it. Goal 2 with discussion and thoughts and feelings and all that kind of thing, and documentation from the artifact, and then a conclusion that pulls it all together just like a conclusion does. Okay, a reflection also is kind of an unusual genre because it is sort of a combination of an argument and a story. So anyway, you have this topical kind of outline that I've created for you, but then you're using description, you're using storytelling elements like, well, this is what happened, I did this next, process or plot. You are maybe even using dialogue like, I couldn't believe that I did that, or your thoughts. Um, and then, of course, you're the main character, so there's a little bit of characterization here. So all of these things are combining to create this little mini essay. And I use the word essay to make you realize that this is not a draft, it's more formal than that, and so you need to revise it. Okay, so continuing, it is very contemplative or thoughtful, like you're thinking and not just thinking to yourself, you're actually writing your thoughts down that are relevant to this learning. Like for instance, you're remembering back to that time. Like I remember when I got this assignment, I couldn't believe that I had to do all this. I had to have 10 sources. They had to be scholarly. I had to do an annotated bib with it. I was freaking out, or however you would put that in your language, being polite and professional. But there are actual words that you use to signal that you're thinking, critically, that you're reflecting. I wondered, I considered, I thought, possibly, or it seemed that, or looking back, I recalled, any of those starter words, signal that you're going to be going into your mind and thinking on the page. And so maybe that will help you. Reflection is questioning. It's tentative. It's not like, well, yeah, I know I did this. Well, you don't know you did this until you explain how you did it. And so it's up in the air because you're having to demonstrate that you learned this. And so if you say like, okay, this is what my goal is, and then you immediately say, well, I know that I met this goal because I made an A. Well, you met the instructor's goals, but you're not talking about what you learned. Okay, the A doesn't say anything about what you've learned. And then also, you don't have any, if you just go on the grade, you have nothing else to say. So you'll have like a sentence or two, and that's not going to be, it's not going to be enough. Also, you need to be honest. I mean, be positive, but be honest. I wouldn't say things like, this was the stupidest assignment I ever had, because that puts you in a bad light. It puts you as a negative person, and prospective employers, I mean, who needs negativity? So be positive. And if you don't want to say it, don't say it. Leave it out. Include vivid details that are relevant, not anything that's not necessary, but descriptive words like adjectives, things like that, that help us to see and to be there and to understand. Okay, here's my disclaimer. There are probably a gazillion ways to write a reflection. This is just what I'm throwing out to you because it's very easy. It's very structured. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you add in the details that you want to add in. So what I'm saying is, this template is it needs to be padded by your thoughts and your ideas, your examples, and I don't know, like pieces, from your brain. So don't expect this only to work. This is just really, it is a template. Like a letter template in Word, you have to fill in all the details, but it gives you the framework. Right? Great. Okay, so we're moving to the introduction. Okay, before you start, read the first paragraph of one of the really good reflections from the ePortfolio's website. Okay, so look at how they started. How can you get people interested? I mean, what you're going to be doing is you have to identify the artifact, like this assignment was completed in English 112 semester fall, I don't know, 2019 or whatever it might be. So you need like that basic information, but you still don't want it to be super boring and exactly like everyone else's. So put on, your thinking cap, which is what my mom would say, and start thinking about, okay, well, how can you get these viewers interested? And the viewers that I'm talking about are not just me. They are people who could offer you a job, an internship, a scholarship, or something along those lines. I mean, they are people who could give you something that would give you a leg up and help you, get to your next place. And it would be something that would be helpful to you. Okay, describe the artifact. Don't just say it's a proposal paper from English 112. The paper, it has a title, no matter how boring. Call it by its title. I mean, you gave it that title, and describe what the paper is about. Describe it like you wrote it. Like it's something that you slaved away on for at least, I don't know, for a while. So, I mean, because you wrote it or you completed the assignment, whatever it was, you ought to have like the most information in the world about it. And I would say you are absolutely going to have to read it, watch it, look over it again before you start doing this reflection. Uh-oh. Okay, well, anyway, I will try to go back. Okay. Oh, okay, I didn't even need to go back. Sorry. I'm confusing my own self. Uh-oh. Okay, paragraph 2. So now read the second paragraph of that reflection that you read the introduction of. Okay, this time the goal ought to be really clear, and it's probably the topic sentence. Okay, so there's the goal. Okay, the goal is what you're going to talk about and how you met the goal using this artifact as an example. Okay, so you're using the artifact as an example. Okay, I'm not going to really go into this anymore right here because I want to make this video short. You can talk about how you met this goal or how you improved on it. Like for instance, let's say that this is written communication core skill, and your goal is to learn how to write a thesis statement that actually is the purpose of the paper. I know that when I was taking freshman composition, I could not do this when I started out. And I was better at the end, but not that much better because it's really hard to do. I mean, and I'll admit it, like, I was not very good. I mean, I became an English major later, which is amazing. But when I started out, I could not do it. And so I really had to work. Like, I would have to write my thesis statement like 13 times. And I still have to do that until I get it, to say exactly what my purpose is. So you're going into things like that, and you're talking about, writing the thesis in context of your artifact. Okay, and you're doing the same thing in your third paragraph, which is about your second goal. And one thing that I didn't mention when I was talking about paragraph 2, where have you practiced this skill before? Okay, if it's a paper in psychology, you could talk about, well, I learned the basics in English 111, then I also practiced in English 112, so by the time I got to psychology and had to write a paper there, I knew what I was doing, or at least more than I did before English 111. So it's part of like an ongoing continuous improvement process. Okay, and then finally, your conclusion. Okay, so what is not really very nice, but like, what does it all mean? What does this learning mean to you? How are you going to use it in the future? What did you learn about yourself too? For instance, to go back to my example about the thesis statement, I learned that I could organize. I learned that I could focus because I am personally not a very organized person. I can organize in writing, but everything else is difficult for me. And so I figured out, if I'm diligent, if I persist, if I keep on trying, I can do it. And that fueled my understanding of myself that if something is difficult for me, that doesn't mean that it's going to stop me from completing my end goal, which at that time was getting an associate's degree. And so you're at the end now. And so you almost have an associate's degree, so you know you can do it. See what I'm saying? Okay, so these are do's. Read, or watch your videos or audios, voiceovers, or whatever before you try to write about them. Because, it's been a long time, right? It's been a long time, you don't remember. And so just at least look over it quickly. Use my organization. If you want to be creative, that's cool, but just get those elements in your reflection. I love creativity. This format is just to help you get it done. Okay, realize that the draft is not the final. You are going to have to revise. Well, you don't have to revise, but you should revise. Include the core skill and program outcome statements. And another thing while I'm thinking about it, in ACA 122, when you put the outcome statement in your own words, you don't need that anymore. Okay, in ACA 122, that's just to try to help you understand what it is that you're supposed to learn. You don't need that now, so you can just delete it. The goals that you have for core skill and program outcomes from ACA, they may work, but they probably will not work. And you can read the rest of this. The most important thing is reflection is not about grades. Grades you've already earned. You're trying to earn yet another grade now. And your grade rests on your ability to demonstrate critical thinking. And so if you just summarize and describe without showing what you've learned, based on the past and looking at, where you are now, you're not critical thinking. Go back to that critical thinking article that we read. That's what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. There might be, okay, really quickly, the core skill and the program goals are different than the goals on your goals page because they are based on your academics, and some of those goals were too from the goals page, but these are academic goals based on the skills or the outcomes. Okay, they are based on the skills or the outcomes, and they do need to be specific for that particular kind of skill. They need to be clear and they need to be measurable. Okay, strong goals. I will improve my ability to organize writing. I can take that goal and I can go to a paper, I can go to a speech, or it could be something else, and I can show how I organized that particular assignment. However, I can't say, or I can, you can always write the goal, I will learn to write effectively. Well, when I go to my artifact, what am I going to do to demonstrate effective writing? It could be anything. And so you can look at these other examples. Okay, goals that are weak. Okay, like the goal that I just mentioned, I will write effective papers. What does that mean? What is effective? What do the viewers look for? What do you look for? I have no clue. Or another goal, I will travel the world after I graduate to learn about other cultures. You have to use an artifact or an assignment that you completed while you were at SPCC. Okay, so travel your heart out. I hope you travel everywhere you want to go, but you need something from history, from intercultural communications, from religion, from sociology, from a course like that to demonstrate that you've learned something about other cultures for cultural literacy. Earning an A in English 112. Not a good goal because it doesn't say anything about what you've learned. So you think about, communication competence outcome or the written communication goal and decide, how you could revise that. Okay, and then some information on week goals. And I think that's it. It is it. Okay, so let me get out of this, stop share, and come back. I hope this helps. I hope this is not very long. And just keep working because you need to work on this as long as you can. All right, take care. Bye.